Chuckers, and welcome to Quirky Crafts and Collectibles on Pandora Box. Well, today I'm going to show you Rapunzel doll, and I want to recustomize her to a one that come with the short hair. Now, she was available, and I did want to buy her from Disney store, and then she was off the market, and I feel like I've missed out. So I'm going to use her, cut her hair short, and colour it. And I've got a way of colouring this hair. I'm not going to reroute it, and I'm going to rebody it to this doll. Probably some of you know this doll. I still don't know who she is, but she has amazing articulation, and I'm going to, you know, the skin tone matches pretty good. She's more on the pink side than this one, but I think she'll be quite good. And if you know, like, she's got a beautiful face, but for me, this doll, her head's too big, but her body's perfect. So, and then I've got this doll, this Barbie doll here, that she came to me all chopped up. So I thought I might practice on her first, see how I do her, fix her hair up as it's pretty blunt at the back. So having a closer look at this Barbie, you can see the hair's got a bit of flyaway. It's been chopped quite blunt, so they've grabbed it and they've just cut it, and you can see the sharp cut. When it's let go, you can actually see how uneven the hair is. And so what we want to do, we want to give it more of a straighter line and give it a neater cut, get rid of all that stray hair there, and we'll go from there. Now, I've given the hair a good wash, and just want to see what it looks like when it's wet, and give it a good comb through. You can see there's a lot of stray hairs that was missed, and it's really uneven. So what I'm trying to do is just get the doll nice and even, so she's sitting right, and yeah, just see where this choppiness is, and then once I've worked out how the hair falls, we'll start cutting. So you can see all that underneath growth, and it's been chopped quite high, so we need to blend that in. Bit of work there, and what I want to do first is comb out that bottom section. Just get my clips, get the excess hair out of the way. I want to see where that hair is actually falling from the top, so I know how far up I want to go. So I've got a guideline, but at the moment all this is just excess, so we just get rid of all that. Now I've combed it all up, I can see where the top is. I'm just going to take a lot of that excess off and just give myself a bit of a shape, so I know where I'm going to be bringing the hair up to. Very fine sections, like we did with the long hair, but this time it's shorter hair, so we do fine sections, and always do them in sections like this. Never blunt cut it, otherwise you can get it very uneven, especially when you're doing short hair like this, or a bob or concave. You want to get it nice and even. So just getting rid of all that excess, following the last line I cut. Now, of course, this is synthetic hair, so it doesn't have a natural fall. It's been rooted all different directions, so you've got to work with the way it's been rooted. So as you can see now, the hair is starting to take a little bit of shape on the bottom, and just comb that out or comb it down. Just follow that concave of that shape on the bottom. Once I've got all my hair to the same length, then there's no more to cut. Then we start graduating the hair up. So I'm just now checking to see how much hair is left. As you can see, there is no more on the bottom except on the left hand side. And I'm going to bring it out just to give it a bit of a layered effect, so it concaves. And it's going to be a bit hard with my hand in the way. So what I'm doing now is lifting the hair and giving it a shape towards the bottom. So I can see where my first layer is on the top, and to the bottom, graduate it out. So just comb the hair all down, and then we're going to section the back. You can see from the top, I'm going down to the last point, and just comb that down to see. And you can also freehand cut it as well. So that's what I'm doing now. It's just freehanding because it's a bit hard with my hand. And just angle that point towards the shoulder and cut it off. It does look a lot, but this side it was a lot longer than the other side. So I'm freehanding that, and just each section I comb down and just follow the last cut in that same angle. Because once I've done that cut, the first one, I can follow the last cut. Comb it all down, get all those strays. Now you can grab it with your finger and you can give it a nice even cut down. And just follow underneath the last cut. Hope that makes sense. Just be patient because it is a small head that you're working with. And there you go. Gives it a nice finish. So the sides will be all the one length, and the back would be laid from underneath up. It gives it a concave effect. Because it was so bluntly cut, we need to blend that in. It's looking a lot better now. And just freehand all those strays just to even it all up. And just fluff it around and see how it falls naturally. That's about done for the dry cut. And this is what we've cut off. So it's not a lot. It looked like a lot, but it's not that much. And this is what the haircut looks like finished. It's still wet, so I'm going to let it dry naturally, and then come back to it. Yeah, I'm going to come back to it when it's dry and just tidy it up a little bit more. But as you can see, it's got a nice shape to it compared to what it was before. Now I have a better studio, better lighting, so I hope this makes it a little bit better to see. And this is now the hair all dry, dried naturally, and you can see it's still got a little bit of bluntness there to it, and I need to reshape that, and I'm going to do that whilst it's dry, and I'm going to do a bit of a scissor over comb. So I'll get that all set up. Now, unfortunately, I lost the footage that I did the scissor over comb, but this is now the finished result. It's a lot more shaped and rounded, and it gives it more of a balance than it was before. So I hope you like it. She does look a lot nicer than she was before with the blunter cut. And let's zhuzh her up and see the finished result. Okay, here is Rapunzel, ready to customize her. Now what I've done, I've put glad wrap on the table so I don't mark my table, and what I'm going to be doing is, because I'm going to be cutting a lot of the hair off, I'm going to do some tests. Now what I found, because it's synthetic hair, you can't just put a color natural colour in the hair. So what I'm going to do is I found that Sharpie works. So I tried a black Sharpie and you can see that actually worked really well, but that's a bit too dark. So then I got a brown Sharpie textures, and what I did, I bought this one and I bought a darker one. Now I did a test on both of these, and what I found is that this one here is a waterboard marker, and actually it wasn't really that good. So I tried it on the hair, it darkened it up. By the time I washed it, it actually washed out. Then I tried the dark one, that one, and now what I had to do is I had to leave it overnight, because I did the first one, I did a test, and it kind of broke the hair a bit, and I don't know why. So you can see it's actually broke the hair. So what I did is I did another test there, and I left it overnight, let it set, because this has got a set, and I washed it out and it worked really well. So I'm going to be using this texture on this head. Now what I'm going to try and do is probably cut majority of the hair out, because well, trying to decide, should I cut the hair first? What we'll do is we'll cut the hair first to the style we want, and then I'll color it, because that way I'm going to use a lot of color. But just to show you what I did, just to give you an example, I laid the hair out, got my texture out, and I did that, turn it around, make sure I colored it all quite well, and I just left that set overnight, and that was pretty much it. And then what I did when I washed it, it did make it a little bit dry, but that's okay. So what we're going to do now is get her ready for cutting. What I've done is I've sectioned the hair out this way, I've clipped it one side there, and get another clip and clipping that side up that way. Okay, then we comb the hair down. Now again, because these dolls have been hand rooted, they don't have a natural fall, so you've got to follow the way it's falling. So see, there's a kink there. You can kick that out if you boil wash that, but I want to avoid doing that. So what I want to do is take it to there and cut all that off. Okay, so we've still got hair to play with. I want to see how that's going to fall. Always taking small sections. Try and never hold the hair and cut it that way. If you do that, what's going to happen, as soon as you let it go, it's going to bounce right up. It's not going to be even. Now, using my guideline, that line here, if you lift the hair up, you can see where the last hair cut was. That's what we call a guideline. So that's the hair we are following. Try and keep the doll's head forward and cut. See how you get a nice line through that. Oops. And I'm just going to keep going and cutting it away, cutting it all until I've got a shorter hairstyle to work with. Because at the moment it's just excess hair. But it's a good way to show you how to cut a bob or a straight line on a doll. Now on a human head, you wouldn't get them to turn their head like that. Give them a always follow that guideline. The last cut you did, So I've taken all that bulk away and I'm left with the shorter hair. And now I'm going to be layering this through. So, head straight up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn her head right round as if she was facing me. I'm going to bring this down. Have a look at the photo for your reference. And see how the hair wants to go that way? If I cut that too short, it's just going to stick up. So I want to keep that and see how it's going to fall. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to give it a blunt cut, I'm going to give it a chip. So I just want to see how it's falling. And I think that's pretty good. I don't want to go any shorter than that. So that is now my guideline. Taking the hair up that way. And this is now layering it. So this is my shorter piece. I bring it right up. And take that up there. Just want to make sure you can see it from this angle, and I cut it off. And now that is my layered effect. That's my last cut there. That's what I follow. And again from this side, take it all the way up. And see how it falls. Now I can see how long it is, and I do want to go shorter. I'm happy with the layering though. I'm not going to go any shorter than that. I just want to cross section that. Make sure that's nice and even, pretty good. Just take off a little bit more and I can chip into that just to give it a bit more of a chopped effect. Because remember when Flynn, whoever cut her hair, I can't remember. Yeah, whenever she got her hair cut, it was a blunt cut. Now we're going to go shorter than that. Looking in the mirror, seeing how that falls. Because in the movie it's actually, and in the photos you can see, it's kind of flowing out. Now it is a lot shorter, so now I'm going to go underneath. Again, section that out. If you want to leave it that way you can see where the hair is falling naturally. Okay, bring it right round as if she's looking at you now. And I want to give it that messy cut, like somebody just came and just chopped her hair. Almost like the one we did before and I fixed it. Well, this time we're actually trying to give it that effect. Okay, so there we go, she's done. Now it's ready for colour. Now off camera what I've done is just taped up the face, so when we start colouring the hair it doesn't stain the skin of the dolls as well. If I do get any on there, hopefully it'll come out in pure acetone. Okay. Now with this texture, it's got a thick section in it and there is a thin section, so this might be good for the close-ups. So what I'm going to do is do the thick section first, and we want to colour the hair, so I'm going to try and do it in sections first. Now remember, this is permanent, so I should be wearing gloves. And normally you would paint the scalp if you're doing a dark hair, so I'm just going to go over it with the texture as well. Just remember, just watch the hairline. And we'll do that with the small end of the pen. So with the small tip of the pen, just very gently doing that hairline. So I've gone through the whole head now, and I'm just double checking anywhere I've missed. Now it does look quite dark, but it isn't as dark as what it looks like on camera. It's actually a beautiful colour. So just making sure that I've got all those blonde pieces. Yep, missed a spot. Because I'm not sure how much of the colour is going to wash out when I rinse it, but I'm going to leave it set overnight. Now, I told you to wear gloves, I didn't, and hopefully this will come out, otherwise I'm going to have brown hands. I'm lying, I did look for my gloves but I couldn't find them. I think I've run out. She looks pretty covered now. Just check. Ah, look. See the blonde piece there? Make sure you really get into there and cover it. Just watch that hairline. I tried colouring the scalp as well as best I could. Just so it doesn't look so light. The test will be when I take off the tape. I didn't get any on the scalp. Alright, well there you are. She's all coloured. Look at that, I can see some more blonde tips when the light hits it. I'm just going to go over those tips. Might give it a streaky effect if I leave it. Alright, I think that's about it. I'll leave that set overnight, come back and wash it. I might check the hairline beforehand, so I might take the paper off, so we can do that now, see how we went. That's good. An actual fact, you can see I've missed a spot there, so I'm just going to go over it really carefully. Look at that, got her neck, so that was really lucky. Okay, so there you go. Okay. Well, here she is, just before we wash it out. Let's see how we go. It stayed pretty stiff. Okay. Time for a bath.
When Rapunzel's hair was cut all off, her beautiful blonde hair disappeared, and when it was short, it came into a brown auburn colour. She was so upset. Flynn found all her hair and said, "What happened?" Rapunzel said, "I don't know, it was all cut off, and now I've lost all my long hair." Flynn said, "It doesn't matter. You're still a beautiful girl, and I'm still in love with you. It's just hair, and it will grow back. Please, Rapunzel, don't worry. I love you. I will always be with you." And with that, Rapunzel felt so alive again, and it didn't matter about her hair. She was in love with Flynn, and they lived happily ever after.
Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos, and give me a like if you like it. Share as well. I'd love you to share my program. Well, until next time, I'm Pandora Box. Chicken!